Okay, let's talk about the Bitcoin King indicator. Now, I made this indicator so I could get more Bitcoin when I'm trading cryptocurrency, as that is the gold standard right now. In order to do that, I would always compare assets against Bitcoin. So instead of looking at, for example, SUI USD, I would look at SUI BTC. On some exchanges, this exists, like this pair exists. You can trade SUI directly for Bitcoin, and that's great. But it doesn't always exist for everything. So I had to create this indicator that would automatically create that pairing for me. And that's what you see down here. This is going to be the SUI BTC chart no matter what. And then if I switch to Tau, it's going to show me Tau BTC. These bands around it are RSI bands that are showing me where the RSI is relative to this. Up here, you'd have the 80, 90 levels. Here would be like 10, 20, 30. So in this case, we're on Tau, BitTensor USDT, and it's showing us Tau USDT up here on the main chart, but down here it's showing us Tau BTC. So we get an idea of where this asset is in relation to Bitcoin. And if you look at most assets, they typically go down versus Bitcoin. But this one seems to be doing well, actually. It's holding a pretty decent chart here. So we can pull up the entire chart. Generally for me, I like to buy when the asset's down here in relation to Bitcoin, and I like to sell when it's getting overbought on the RSI, on these bands right here. So that's generally how I look at this. You can see you get little bounces here and so forth. Of course, like all things, the RSI is not perfect, but it does give you a good indication of where to get in and where to get out. We had a big move up, bounced off this RSI down here in relation to Bitcoin, and it continued to move. Right? So those are some things to keep an eye on when you have this working. There's also a little table that'll pop up too. You can move that up and down. So here's the market cap TVL table, which is just going to show you the market cap of the coin if it exists and the total value locked of the coin if that exists too. So right now the total market cap of all crypto is $3.5 trillion. And you can see that by going to total here in TradingView. They have this total symbol. You can pull that up and see the whole total market cap. It's at 3.5 right now, just so it's easier to see where things are at. If we switch to Uniswap, this one has a market cap of 9.4 billion. Total value locked, and this coin is 6 billion. You can see the total value locked of all DeFi, 234 billion value is locked up right now. And that's for DeFi stuff, or whether it's lending or interest reserves, whatever else they need to do to lock up their coins. Staking, that's all the DeFi stuff. So Uniswap has 6 billion of that, and the 0.27% up here on the market cap is the dominance it has. We talk about Bitcoin dominance here. Right now it's at 55. Bitcoin's got 55% of the market share. Something like Uniswap, it only has 0.27%. All right. The other thing I want to talk about is the metrics you can plot. By default, it's going to plot the base asset versus BTC and dead here. But another one that I like to look at is market cap over time. Of course, you get the market cap here, but if we get a look at the market cap over time, we can see it in relation to historical market caps. So here, it's actually interesting. On Solana, you might be going, oh yeah, Solana's good. They should have made an all-time high already. And it looks like they haven't broken the all-time high from 2017 or from 2020. And it's because we actually already broke the all-time high of market cap a while ago. We broke it in March. The market cap was broken. So we had a higher market cap early in the season. The market cap's at 121 billion. We've pretty much doubled it since the last cycle. So if you think this is going to go much higher, you might want to double check the market cap, because that's where it really matters. If we look at something like Uniswap, this one actually has room to move because the market cap's still here. So what'll happen is over time, these coins, they'll release, these tokens will release more coins, so there'll be a larger circulating supply. Even if the price moves up, the market cap's going to go up more because now there's more coins on the supply, because market cap is just the price of the token times the total amount of supply. So always keep an eye on that. That's one I like to look at a lot, and it gives you an idea of the value, the real value of these things, because the price doesn't really matter. It's more about the market cap. Something like SHIB, this thing doesn't do anything. The market cap is at 18 billion. If it does want to go up again, the last time it went to roughly 36 billion market cap. which is a lot. We have something like Bitcoin's at 2 trillion, but the next highest coin is Ethereum. And the market cap of this is just right around 500 billion. Okay, so I wouldn't expect anything to get bigger than 500 billion. Okay, especially if it's a meme coin. So if you look at something like Doge, this is already at 70 billion. All right, and we're actually almost at the all-time high from last cycle, around 75 billion. Can this go higher? Sure, why not? Okay, but 70 billion is pretty high for a coin that doesn't do anything. Okay, you got to look at the market caps of actual businesses and stocks, and something that's at 70 billion it does something. So we have market cap, which is a very good clear indication of something to look at. Not all of these have market cap. Okay, see, some of these coins don't have it for now. Pepe has one, 8 billion, which is really high again for a meme coin. But once you start looking at these and you start getting an idea, you'll start to see how high things can really go and if they're actually higher than they should be. So this one actually made a new all-time high in price, but because they burn coins based off their fees all the time, their market cap isn't as high as you think it is. I think something like Filecoin is going to show us a good example here because they released a lot of coins. So in this case, the highest market cap of Filecoin was 12 billion, and that was around $237, right? Now you would think by looking at this price chart that it has a chance to run back up to $237 since the whole internet pretty much uses Filecoin as a centralized storage. This isn't a dead coin. They still use this all the time. It's built into a lot of DeFi stuff. All right. And you're like, all right, this is great fundamentals on this coin. It should run back up to at least 200. The market cap's already at 5 billion. Of course, it could go back to 12 billion and maybe even higher. But technically, if we go back to the all-time high, this is only going to be, let's say, a 2x from here. So from 5 billion all the way back to 10 million. And right now the price is at $8. That technically means the price goes to $8, $16. And then we're hitting the same market cap as we did when Filecoin was 200. So don't think that the Filecoin is going to go to $200 because it was there once. You have to look at the market cap. And then in here, other metrics that you can look at. These are based off of Lunar Crush, which is a data service that has different rankings, different scores, sentiment and stuff like that. So they have their own altcoin ranking that you can look at. I don't know, it's proprietary. We can pull up the table here. So show Lunar Crush table and it gives you a score based on all the altcoins. So here, if we hover over these headers, it's going to say proprietary Lunar Crush score based on an asset performance relative to all the other assets supported. So you get all this data up here for all of the information that Lunar Crush has applied for us through TradingView. So we alt rank, the sentiment, basically when someone tweets about it, if it's a positive or negative, how many posts are active, and then another scoring system they have called a Galaxy Score, also proprietary. Amount of interactions with those tweets on social posts, views, likes, comments, etc. Posts created, number of unique posts created. I don't know if this is just for the day. I think it's just for the day. Social dominance, so social volume that this topic represents, how many different people have interacted with the posts, and then how many people created new posts. I've just added this stuff and I still haven't figured out quite how to use it and what metrics I should be watching. So they're all here right now. I keep them up and I glance at them and see if any of them make a difference. I feel like plotting the metric over historical time might be a better indication. I'm just not sure which metric makes more sense right now. I would think maybe like posts created. If you see more posts happening for an asset, if you see that increasing, then maybe that asset might be something to go look at, right? But typically, the only thing I've noticed is transients in the data. So here we had a very large amount of posts created all within a couple weeks, and then of course the price rose. Same here. So when people start talking about something, naturally people are going to go look it up and buy it. But here, actually, people posted about it and then price dumped off. So it was almost like everyone started talking about Filecoin here and then people forgot about it. But now it's actually moving and no one's really talking about it. So that's interesting. Another metric I would use maybe to look at could be like sentiment over time. And of course you can experiment with this. Typically sentiment seems to be always above 80, but maybe if sentiment is low, you might want to go look to buy the coin, right? So sentiment here was at 62, and then that's not sustainable for some good coins. So you want maybe use that as an opposite signal for if people are saying bad things, might be a good time to go buy. Buy when there's blood in the streets. Interactions, again, like these metrics, I haven't spent too much time going through them. They're there. So go and find your alpha, figure out what makes sense. I'm just giving you some hints and some tips on how this works and what you're looking at when you're using this. And then finally, the signals. This is based off of BTC loss addresses percentage chart, oversold and overbought. And what that is typically I found that there is a very good correlation of people who are in profit in total on the Bitcoin blockchain or not in profit. There is a correlation to where the price is about to move. So what that means is if we look at this chart right here, and this chart shows us the amount of people, the percentage of addresses with realized losses out of all the addresses currently holding Bitcoin. If we look at this, around 80% we're in a loss here, 60% we're in a loss, so forth. Like, so right now at this point in time, it's hard to read because these numbers are so small, but a very large majority of people are in profit right now. And typically when that happens, the market tends to correct. And if you compare these levels down here, when the majority of people are in profit, there are usually major sell-offs. Now, it's not every single time. Sometimes the market can be, lots of people can be in profit for a while and we can keep going up, but typically these line up pretty well with major sell-offs. So if I go and I pull up, for example, you can look at that right now. These labels align with what you just saw, and see we got our first one here. Obviously the market kept going up another 70%, but then we got another one and you see what happened after. The buy ones are other indications, probably some better ones to pay attention to because that's when no one's paying attention to the market. So if you get a buy signal, definitely jump in, right? Don't ignore the sell signals. So these are ones that are spot on, right? Sell here, market kept moving, but eventually came back down and even lower. And then all these buys, yeah, this one was a little early, but the rest of these worked out pretty well. So it's obviously not perfect, but pretty good indication. So we're getting one right now and the market's still moving up. Yeah, the market might be able to go another 50%, who knows, maybe, who knows, right? This could be the golden bull run, but right now we're getting one of those. Everyone's in profit. We're getting this signal. I cannot ignore it. Cannot ignore it. And yeah, so what? Say if it goes a little higher, then it comes down. We'll just take this profit that we just took right now and we'll put it back in. That's how we trade. That's how we make money. We're not buying right here. We're selling right here. Okay? And we'll buy when we get this signal. It's very simple. So that's the Bitcoin King, and that's how I use this tool all the time. I'll be expanding it and adding more stuff to it as well. Any questions, just shoot me a message. I'll see you in the next video.